right. I say that every time we start these episodes, or every time I turn the camera on, I always say, all right.
A little walk back down to the seat.
The little walk. Today is the 21st of February, episode number 7. It's exactly a month out today from race day, 4 weeks today to all the big dance, the big event that we're working towards, and things are heading in the right direction. And I think what I like about doing these videos, and we've discussed this before, is it's kind of like a snapshot in time as to where we might be on this particular day. That doesn't necessarily mean that, like last week's video, for example, we were in a very good spot on Monday. We had a great day, ripping day, but then personally towards the end of the week, it kind of just tailed off a little bit, and there were some challenges and some, I guess, a lot of resilience training and resilient emphasis, which we discussed ourselves, and I will discuss that probably a little bit later, as I'm a little bit aware of time constraints that we've got to warm up soon, so I want to keep this a bit more concise and a bit more around training, but we'll discuss that too. But yeah, today, gym this morning, and I don't know, Kane, how you feeling? How you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, mate. Wasn't expecting the microphone so soon. You were pretty quick, concise there.
A lot more to talk about, don't worry.
Season 1, episode 7. Here we are. Feeling pretty good this week. We came out on Monday and had a great session, and I think we've been talking about it over the last couple of weeks, how we're starting to get that momentum and we're starting to build towards that race prep energy. And I think that we talk about it a lot, and then we kind of have had a few sessions that have made us not question that, but kind of challenge us in a way that we haven't been challenged in quite some time, in terms of kind of not potentially being where we might have thought we would have been at this point. And then I think we've definitely squashed that over the last couple of sessions, and we're really driving forward, and we can see objectively now that we are heading and we're starting to put it all together, because I think over the last couple of weeks there's been aspects of the objective times and things like that have been really good, and it's only in the last couple of sessions that we've really stuck it all together. And I think that's a huge tick in that self-belief box for me that I've spoken about in previous episodes, and I know that from here we're just going to drive forward and it's going to get better and better. So had an okay start to the gym session this morning. I was feeling really good, but I was doing some jumps and tweaked my neck just a little bit, so I'm currently just dealing with that. I'm not quite sure how today's session is going to go at this point. We'll kind of find out once we get on the bike. I'll use the warm-up, having a bit of a roll, and then the activation, which you'll see as well, as a bit of an opportunity to feel it out and see how we're going. So I'm not quite sure what we're going to get yet. We might modify the session just a little bit so we can still get the load in the legs. But we're here and we're going in with an open mind, and you'll find out a bit more about what the plan is next. Things are good. Anything else to add, Luke, before we get started?
Yeah, so you made a good point there. Like, objectively, things are heading in the right direction and they're going where we want, but I think how we have felt through some of those efforts, we personally maybe don't feel great. The sensations within ourselves don't feel great, but the times we're doing on the track are very good, the where we want them to be, the where we need them to be. So that does give us that reassurance and that awareness that we are heading in the right direction. So that does lead towards that positive reinforcement that when we do start to feel fresher and better just within ourselves, that we're already going fast out on the track, it kind of all compounds and it just snowballs into just progression and more speed. So I think that's a really good point that you made, and we've obviously discussed a bit about that too. And yeah, I think, so today's session is a unique session. We're actually doing single bike stuff. So I'm on the track doing moto jump, moto lead in, flying 200s, and Kane's got 30-second erg efforts on the Le Mans. So it's an important thing that we are two individual athletes. We do have different needs. We have different training ages and different requirements that we both need to work on, so that when we come together for the joint goal on the tandem, we're both physically prepared. So for me, today is more of a speed session and cadence work, and for Kane, it's more length and just grinding it out. I'll give Kane the award of working the hardest in the building today. But yeah, we've got...
Every session, mate.
It's every session, yes, I'll give you that. But yeah, today is 3 quality efforts. It's pretty much what we'll get into. We'll discuss more about the individual, I guess, the effort itself before we actually go out and do it. But from that point, there's not really too much else to discuss. Like, I do have things that I do want to discuss and touch on that we've had a lot of discussions, but again, I'll talk about that at the end in the post-session debrief part, because I think it's some important topics to discuss and bring to light and give awareness to what actually is required, like what is the journey, what are the highs and the lows in the day-to-day, and because I've probably experienced a lot over the last week or so. So for me, I want to discuss that because I think it is important for other people to kind of hear that message and those potential struggles. But again, that doesn't mean that we're in a bad spot. We're in a very good spot. Mindsets are good. Yes, there may be some niggles that maybe we both are dealing with and stuff, but like Kane mentioned before, objectively everything is very good and heading in the right direction. Monday's start session was great. Friday's MAC moto push session, again, very great. So a lot of positives, a lot of good things, and we'll just keep that momentum going and keep bouncing off each other and reinforcing that positive feedback and supporting one another, which will help, help snowball that effect that we're after. So I think that's all I've got to talk about. Is there any more you want to add about the session?
No, that's it. Let's go and get in there.
All right, sweet. We'll see you for first effort.
All right, we're here. First activation of the day. This is an opportunity to just get the body really warmed up. Bit of a lighter gear. 15-second activation for the long efforts that I've got today. Usually on, say, like a short start session or like a 200-meter effort on the track on the tandem, I might only do like 8 to 10 seconds or even a standing effort, but we're rolling in, just turning the legs over, stepping on it as hard as we can, and then just holding it on. It's pretty spinny. So yeah, 15 seconds. Let's go and get it. Woo. Yeah. All right. That little tweak of the neck isn't stopping us. Power numbers still really good. Feeling strong. We're getting some redemption from a bit of missed gym this morning, so let's go. Effort 1, 30 seconds. Big drive. And just hold on tight and wait for the pain to come in. 5, All right, here we are. We're going for another journey. This is a real test. This is a real test, but we love it. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here right now, challenging myself at this level. Hard shit makes hard shit easier. Yeah, buddy. Ain't nothing but a peanut. All right, come on, Hannah. Let's go, mate. Fuck.
So this is effort number 2 for me. Didn't get a chance to film the first effort as it was a bit of a tight turnaround. And it's probably a good thing you didn't see that first effort because it was absolutely terrible. And that's just being honest. I'm not here to fake things and make everything seem like it's all good and perfect. You know, today that effort was challenging. It was not good. That's on me. So hopefully that means it's only up from here. But yeah, originally supposed to do these efforts on 110, but yeah, because that first one was so far off the mark, we've gone up a cog on the backside, 118 now. So hopefully that's a little bit better and help me control the bike a bit. As you know, as I spend most of my time riding tandem, I don't really ride my single bike that much, but when I do, it's nice. But in saying that too, I struggle a lot with the handling of the bike, and then you know you add the discs in as well, and the element of twitch and the flickiness of it as well, and I'm just not. Takes me a couple of sessions to kind of get used to it, but it's all right. I'll put that away, I'll put it behind me, I'll refocus for this one, get my head back in the game. I can only go up from here. All right, effort 2. All right, that's my second effort done. The only one you're gonna see because I've been told to pack it up and go home. So obviously the legs are just not there today, and that's a shame because I don't know, kind of hold myself to a pretty high standard as most elite athletes do. And the first week I did these, I did a 9.7 with the motorbike leading me in on 110. So obviously me being me, and you know, holding myself to a high standard, I want to try and push that each and every week and try and step it up. And last week it went backwards. I think my fastest one was a 9.9, and then today again it's gone backwards again. And I don't even want to know what times I did today, but that's okay. Sometimes these days happen. Sometimes these things happen, and that's the reality of it. Not every day is good, and not every day that I turn the camera on and film, it's going to be a good day. So yeah, Kane's got one more effort, so I'm going to go down, support him, give him a bit of a jab because I know he's feeling it too today, and then yeah, we'll wrap this one up.
All right, we're on rep 3. Last one of these that I have to do for a while. Resilience inducing. They've pushed me to the absolute limit today, but here we are. As Luke says, he's standing behind the camera over there, as he always says, you swing your leg up over that bike and switch the mind off and just go for it. Any
bit of Chuck Norris.
Any wise words? Bit of Chuck Norris into the pedals, Turco says. The music's off. Everyone else is done. No one else is working hard, so everyone's just floating.
Oh, Tammy, my neck's not sore anymore. I can't feel it.
Everything else is.
Oh, my bike disappeared. Where'd it go?
All right. Session done.
Big day in the office.
Yes, big day in the office. A big, well, for Kane it was a big physical day, and for me it was probably more of a mental day. I think honesty is the best policy when it comes to these kinds of things, and like we set out from the beginning, being authentic and just being real and honest with how we're feeling and how the prep is going. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video too, I think the good thing about these videos are almost like a journal entry that they're a moment in time and how we were feeling and how we were on that particular day. And like I discussed before, last week, the Monday session, like it was a really good day. The Friday session before that was a challenging day. And today probably for me has been a very challenging day again. And that's where I've been pretty much for the rest of the week, really. Like from last Monday when we filmed, it was a really good day, and then again did the Wednesday session last week, and like I mentioned before, I just started to tail off compared to the first week, and then again today was worse than it was last week. And I hold myself to a very high standard, and I think it's important to kind of have those discussions as well. And like something that we've mentioned too is like the resilience that we're going through. Not necessarily the resilience that we need, but then like it's a muscle pretty much that you're training, that the more you expose yourself to this, you can overcome and adapt. And then when the next thing comes up, you're better prepared to kind of handle that situation. And that's kind of where I feel is actually a strong suit of mine. Like I have had my fair share of setbacks and adversities over the years, and I'm sure at some point I might talk about some of them. But for me, like I can handle quite a bit, which sometimes is to my detriment, that I take on too much. I take on too much pressure and stress on myself because I'm very driven and very motivated and stubborn in that regard too. But that's what makes me who I am as a person. And like last week we had moments where it was good, moments where it was challenging, and then Friday session we came out, and the first effort, I just broke down after the first effort. We did it, we went out. It wasn't a bad effort. I didn't feel great. And then I went into the tunnel underneath the track just to try and cool down because it was hot out here, and just trying to be by myself and be with my emotions. And they got the better of me. And I just started crying, like for no reason. Like I didn't really have a very valid reason as to why. And, but I also think it's not a bad thing. That's not a weakness. It's not a sign of, what do I say? Not weakness. It's not a sign of weakness or anything like that. I think allowing myself to feel those emotions is important, and being vulnerable is good. And I think if I had bottled it up, that's where I kind of go to in the past. I sometimes bottle things up and then they get the better of me. And I think the fact that I was able to just accept how I was feeling, accept my emotions, be aware of them, understand them, and then again got a good support crew here in the training environment to kind of help me through that like Shane came and checked on me before and did the second effort, and then that was when I really kind of it really just hit me, and I couldn't hold on to it anymore, and pulled me aside, and we had a bit of a chat and just spoke through and had some he gave me a lot of his valuable experience that he's got over his very, very successful career, and can pass it on to me. And just again two men having a chat and being open and honest, and that's something that we've done as well. Like again, I've opened up to Kane around those struggles too, and I think that's important. Whereas in the past, again, I kind of very much internalized that and didn't discuss those things, and that's not helpful for anybody. Or not communicating those things is not beneficial, because no one can help you if you don't express that. And I think having a space where you can be vulnerable, like it is important. And like just the importance of like sports psychology as well. Like we spend so much time training our bodies that this is the thing that will kind of get you when it comes race day. Like if you don't train your mind, that when things kind of come up, you're going to crumble, and that's unfortunate. But I've spent many time and many a year and sessions with my sports psychologist. I actually have an appointment with him tonight as well, and little bits like that I find do help a lot. So there is nothing weak about speaking to someone and being open and honest. I think there is a lot of stigma around that sometimes, and I think I think just the more you can kind of have those discussions, that's why I feel like this is important to kind of talk about those challenges and those difficult moments that, it does allow other people to kind of discuss things and reach out. And I think that's where we've worked a lot on ourselves as a pairing, and we've done sessions like that too, where we've kind of had a safe space where we can discuss and be open and honest with one another, that we can then do that more frequently. So, I can have a day like Friday, have a discussion with my coach, and then come out, and then the next effort, go out even better and faster than we did the first one. And, still have those thoughts and emotions, but still know that regardless of that, we're still able to perform. And even Monday's session was another one for me too, where still probably a little bit struggling with some things and stuff like that. And then we came out here and absolutely nailed our starts. They didn't feel great. I didn't feel great, but the time was very good and where we needed to be. So regardless of those external factors, the fact that we're still performing is a very positive sign. And I know that eventually my thoughts and sensations and feelings will match the way that the bike feels. And then from there, it's onwards and upwards. I feel like I'm getting a little bit lost with my words right now. So I'll let Kane take over with how he was feeling today with today's session. But yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah, I don't think you got lost at all there, mate. I think that was just like, that was wow. that was pretty profound. And for you to grab the microphone and be able to speak about all those things in such beautiful articulation. I know you probably felt like you were going off on a tangent or whatever, but no, it was really good, man. And I think that a lot of the viewers that are watching this right now will take a lot from that, because I certainly have over the last week. I've got a lot of respect for what you've done in the last week, facing these situations head on. And I think today is another one of those ones where you're like, you could have shied away from it, and we could have come out in front of the camera and said, yeah, like full credit to the boys. We came out here, we performed, and like the AFL footy players. So, but you've like put your hands up, super vulnerable. You've stepped forward and said, well, these are the challenges that I'm having at the moment. And I think one of the conversations that we had on Monday, which I thought was incredible, was that you were able to talk about the challenges, but you were also able to say, I don't quite understand what I'm feeling, and I don't quite know how to explain it. And I think that's fine as well, because you don't necessarily need to know exactly what it is and how you're feeling to be feeling low or feeling a certain level of apprehension or something like that. So I think that was incredible that you were able to say, look, something's not right at the moment, but I don't quite 100% know what it is, because in being able to speak up and talk to your support network and surround yourself in the people that you know are going to be able to support you, that's kind of where the magic happens and where you find the answers to some of those questions that you're unsure of, is when you are able to reach out to people and have those communications. And sometimes it's just getting off your chest as well. And for me, like the conversation that we had a profound impact on me as well, because I guess like over the last couple of weeks, I've had some similar feelings. I think by the sounds of it, probably not quite at the extent that you're at, and that's okay, because even though we are on a team, we are two individuals as well. And I think that you being able to say, I'm feeling a bit flat, but I don't really understand it at this point, that felt like such a weight off my shoulders as well, because I so feel that, but I don't think I've been able to articulate that to anyone before, where I'm like, I don't know what it is. So I think that was incredible. I feel like I'm getting a bit lost now.
That's good, mate. That's good.
Yeah. But I think one thing that you touched on there was being able to understand your thoughts, feelings, and emotion, and kind of not let it get in the way. And that's what you said on Monday as well. You're like, this is what I'm going through at the moment, but it's not going to get in the way. And I think for some people it can get in the way, and you could have very easily let it get in the way. But the fact that you grabbed that before you even got to the training session and said, I am not going to let this get in the way, and you kind of showed it who's boss before you even got out here to the session. You're like, I'm not going to let it get in the way. And then starts, look at what we did. We did exactly where we needed to be. we knocked a huge amount of time off where we have been in the last couple of weeks, and I think that only propels us forward as well in starting to see objectively things heading in the right direction as well.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon yeah, and I think with that too, like I know that I've been told many times before that I kind of come across as a very intimidating person from the first time people kind of see me and meet me, or maybe people kind of look at me when they see me in the gym or in the training environment, stuff like that. I go to the gym, I have tattoos, usually have a beard and stuff like that. It's like I kind of come across as this, manly man, or I don't know. Like I have been told plenty of times by people that eventually do talk to me. They're like, "Oh, I was so intimidated and scared by it," but you're actually not that way, and that is true. Like I guess you could say I'm a big teddy bear, realistically. Like
Ogres have layers.
yeah, I got a few layers, and I am a compassionate person, and I do care a lot, and I do care about others and stuff. So for me, that's why I feel like this is important to kind of discuss these things. And when Kane and I can have these discussions, it's important too, because if it was vice versa, I would be there for him, just as Kane's been there for me, as others have been there for me as well. Family, friends, partners, like all that. Like I have a support network there that is very valuable, and I think that's important. But also, I think sometimes as men, we feel hard to talk to our mates and talk to our friends about it as well, because sometimes there's a bit of stigma around and people kind of be like, "Oh no, it's fine. And I think that's the wrong way to go about it. That's not the best way, because again, it puts you in a place of suppression, and that's when things get worse and you can be in your own head. Whereas like you said, I can't explain why I feel the way I feel. Yes, we're preparing for the World Championships. There's a lot of pressure and stress around that. We're trying to get to the Paralympics, and we're in a heavy training phase, and our times and sometimes weren't going the way we want. So yes, you could say there's a lot of factors there, but at the time when it happened, I still couldn't explain why. But just being able to say, "Hey, I'm not feeling great. This is why I think it is, or this is what I'm thinking," and then not having that discredited by anybody, and having that support network, and having people be like, "That's okay. Like, we're here to support you and here to kind of help you." I think that's very, very valuable. And again, having, we're very grateful with support staff that we do have at Waste, that we can, on a heartbeat, get in touch with a sports psychologist and have a booking straight away, and then have those discussions. Or Carl at AWE as well is very a careers person. Like, he's very good with those kind of personal relations, that you can have those chats with people, and there are people to kind of be there. But I guess this is for those that are viewing that maybe feel like they don't have someone. It's like, if you can find your people or the support network, and like I'm always happy to kind of help people out. That's just who I am. So if there are people that do struggle with these kinds of things, like my DM's always open to kind of hear and give some guidance and stuff. Because as I mentioned before, like I have experienced a lot, I have been through a lot, but there's people that have been through more than me. And, I feel like there's a bit of value that I can kind of add to some people and help out in some regard. And that's just where I'm at. And I think having discussions like this too do help as well. And like I kind of said before, the perception that people have had of me, like people used to call me Angry Luke when I was a bit younger, because that's just who I was. But that's who I was at that time, or that's not who I was all the time. That was just me in a state where I couldn't express my emotions, and I would bottle things up, and I would just give off this vibe and this aura of like, leave me alone, which when I do get in those states, that still is sometimes the case, where I'm very much an introvert, that when I kind of get into those more vulnerable places, I do want to be by myself. And sometimes when in a highly stimulating environment where there's people around, I don't get that. I kind of shy away and shut down even more. But being able to express that, like, hey, I just need some space, I need some time, is valuable. And people to kind of be around and understand that, and they go, okay, like, Luke's in a space right now, he needs some space, we'll give it to him, and know that he'll come back and be ready to be a part of the team and contributing factor, which went through today. Because again, it was a constant battle today with the way I was feeling, because I went out and did my activation effort, which was really, really good compared to where it's been the past few weeks, but then my efforts were not good. And then, I did struggle with those thoughts, but again, it's a constant battle, but still been able to kind of come in the pits and support Kane and do my best to try and be a part of the team, but also be aware that I need to feel my feelings and express them so then I can move past them. So yeah, again, I feel like I'm rambling on a bit more.
I think that there's contrast in that, and it's something that I experienced this morning. And tell me if I'm wrong, but when you come out when you come out and do something as good as what you did in an activation, and then it can kind of go back the other way, that kind of makes things even more challenging, because you're like, oh, this is good. This is the one. We're going to have a great session here.
Yeah.
And then when it goes the other way, it makes it even more challenging, because it's the contrast. And for me, that's where I was in the gym this morning. I had an absolute sensational start to the gym. Some like big PBs on some of the monitoring tools that we've got. And then I did one jump in like my third set of trap bar jumps, where you're holding the trap bar down by your side, and felt my neck go just a little bit, and that was my session over. And I had to come back and be able to go, right, we're coming out to the track this afternoon. How can I get some redemption here and come back and be able to fire up and go again? So I think that's what makes it challenging in itself, when you have something in front of you that gives you that hope, and then it kind of gets pulled away from you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did the, like, you, not the opposite, but like you accepted that, were aware of it, and then you came out and said, okay, this is a redemption session. Like, I'm going to use that to fuel the session. And you went out and had a very good session. Like you nailed it. You absolutely buried yourself, and you didn't let it get in the way. So it can go either way, and that's totally fine too. I think you did a good job of that today too. And we had that discussion as well. Like, you were able to discuss with me, like, this happened in the morning, but I'm not going to let it get in the way. I'm going to use it to motivate me today to have the best session I possibly can, and you did that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, excellent. I think
Cool.
we've nailed a few excellent points here, and I hope that as a viewer we've been able to go through a little bit more of what happens on a daily training environment. Like Luke said, we're wanting it to be largely uncut. We want you to get a really good picture of the daily training environment. We didn't want to come out and say that every session was a great session and say that it was amazing and be all stoic. I think being able to be a little bit vulnerable about some of the challenges normalizes it for a lot of people as well. And I think I hope that has a bit of an impact on some of our viewers that are coming in.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Anything else to add before we round things off?
No, there's nothing much else. I think this is the end of the block for us. I mean, we have one more session to go on Friday, which again, we're going to come out as we do every single time, regardless, is come out and attack it to the best of our ability and give it all we've got. On the day, being a sprint athlete, every effort is 100%, but if you come in at 80%, you're given 100% of that 80. So we'll come in Friday. We had a really good session Friday, time-wise. So again, come out and try and nail that last one of the block. And then we've got a much needed deload week, which I think will be good, both physically and mentally next week, to kind of just tone it back a bit and just kind of let that recovery process and that taper process kind of kick in as we kind of head into Worlds. But this is the life. This is what we do. This is the price of admission that we paid for success, is going to be these highs and lows, and I'm more than willing to pay that price. We'll.
This is what hard work looks like, isn't it?
100%.
This is where the others quit.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, it's resilience, your ability to push through those barriers and stuff. And, that's, I will leave you with a quote from, I can't remember who it was exactly, but it was the former president of the IOC, said, to be a winner, you merely have to cross the finish line first. To be a champion, you must have admiration for your character. And these sessions and days are very much character building days. So we'll leave you at that and see you next week.
Drop the mic. Damn.
All right.
See you
Cool.
next week.
Good job.
Yep.
All right, mate. Oh, thanks for that.
Ooh, that was good, bro.
Was it?
That was good. That was so good.
I feel like I got lost a bit.
No, you didn't. That was sick. That was sick.